Hey, I'm Blake Hammond. I got invited to the Full Spin Club to talk about Limp Bizkit's $3 bill, y'all.
Hell yeah, dude. Welcome to the club.
You think you dance for my cash? It's your ass that I'm blast. Nobody loves me. No mercy in your face for an hour. So sour. I'm gonna get mine. Too far, boy. Through that door, Ron gonna have fun. I've seen you on campus. When I walk out on stage, all headaches go away.
What's up, everybody? My name is David Stewart, and welcome to the Full Spin Club. This is the online album listening club that I've started here, and we like to talk about music instead of books because books take forever, and this takes about 40 minutes of our week. So, today, like you said, I have Blake Hammond on the pod to talk about Limp Bizkit's $3 bill, y'all. Polarizing record.
Is it polarizing?
It was for me.
I feel like it rocks. I mean, it's like, it's so good, dude. I mean, it's bad. Like, it's really bad.
Yeah.
But it's fucking, like, the preamble. Like, you could just see what was going to happen.
Yeah.
Into, like, yeah, I don't know. It's a little heavier than the other records, though, too. But that's probably why I like it.
Okay. For those who have not joined us before, there are three main segments to this show. There is On a Pedestal, which is where we each bring three things that we loved about the record. Then there is On a Spit, which is where we both wrote three roasts for the record. And then On a Turntable, which is where we start talking about our personal lives or the record at large and using the music as a backdrop to just chat it up. There are also some record scratch sections throughout where I will just sprinkle them in, like the Daily Double in Jeopardy, and where there's like fun mini games, one of which being our mainstay mini game of Hit or Full of Shit, and that is where I take takes from the internet or my own brain, and we decide whether it's a good take or a bad take.
All right.
So, with all that being said, Blake, give me a one-word description of this album you thought of.
Misogynistic.
100%.
Yeah.
I was working out some bits last night at Commonwealth, and I brought up that I was listening to this album.
But when you're like 11, when you're like 10, you know what I mean? I don't know. Limp Bizkit hit me at a time where I was, I don't know, in the 5th grade. So it was like I didn't really understand fully, but they were saying bitch and whore, and it was cool. That's cool.
And girls are gross
and
in
girls
the 5th
are,
grade.
yeah, dude, they all have cooties. He might as well have just said that. You know, like fucking girls got cooties, these whores, and they want your money. And I'm like, yeah, dude, they do.
They do.
My mom wants my money.
This girl in line wanted milk money.
I don't even know if online was like, I hadn't even been online. Dude, I feel so old. Yeah, I hadn't even been online yet. It was just like, yeah, I was in the fucking, I don't know, when this came out, I retroactively listened to this album because obviously I was introduced to Limp Bizkit through like the radio and TRL. So, yeah, it was probably like a little retroactive after, but yeah. Fucking, yeah, I hadn't even been online yet.
Yeah. So like my take was in the song Stuck, he's like, you're stuck on yourself, whore.
Yeah.
And then like in the next song, he's like, nobody loves me.
Yeah,
it was
nobody
the
cares.
funniest,
Yeah.
like the funniest like dichotomy I could find on this record. And I was like, and my take on it was like, well, if you let anyone cook long enough, they'll tell you what's wrong with them.
Right. Well, it's like it's the stages of grief. Yeah. It's
Like
just
anger.
like, yeah, and then acceptance, and yeah, I don't know. Stuck is such a crazy song, which it's crazy because the lyrics are not at all about anything until the chorus. Like, they're just like rap lyrics. Like, he's just rapping about like a rapper would. If you're like, hey, what's a bland thing a rapper would rap about? You know what I mean? Like, oh, my memories of the 80s or whatever.
Yeah.
And then he's like, you're a bitch. Like, in the middle, like, it has nothing to do, like the chorus has nothing to do with the verses.
Right. Like, yeah. I think I'm going to touch on that a bit throughout this because my takes are all relatively similar, but just with different flavors throughout. So let's go ahead and jump into the first section of On a Pedestal. What is your first thing that you loved about this record?
This record should have been Like, I think like 8 songs on it are fucking bang. Like, the first 6 are like, it's like, oh, this is pretty good. And then something happens after, I think, like Sour, maybe, for like 2 or 3 songs where it's just like bad.
Right.
And then like just like not even like they're all bad, but like not listenable really.
Right.
And then Faith is in there. And then they're like, oh, we needed something for the... Like, it felt like they had 6 songs, and then they were like, well, we got to fill out the rest of this.
Yeah, it was incredibly top-heavy.
Yeah, for sure. But that's also, like, that keeps you going, because you're like, well, I love the first 6 songs. The first 6 songs rocked.
Which is wild, because, like, having top-heavy records is such a streaming thing now.
Yeah.
Like, so, like people intentionally stack their records. I wondered if, like, back in the day when, like, CDs and... I say back in the day, but, like, CDs and cassette tapes were top-heavy intentionally because, like, like, we want you to listen to the good stuff up top.
Yeah, and then, like, keep them... Because, Faith is track, 9?
Yeah.
And that was the big hit. But, yeah, it felt like the first 6 were like, oh, whoa. Like, and it also felt like it built to Sour. And Sour, it felt like what they became. Like, that felt like an album, a song that could have been on Significant Other, like Hot Dog Flavored Water, because that actually has more of the sound of what they will do.
Yeah, that came later.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
It's like a preamble to Nookie almost. Like, even the riff is like very Nookie-ish. Like, it's the whole thing is the way he raps. It's a little more slow. It's definitely a more... But I like the beginning is fun. Like, they're doing the televangelist fucking preacher thing. And then, like, Into Pollution. Pollution's like, I don't know. Like, that's like... If I picked a new metal song, like, that's what I'd be like, oh, it's like that.
Yeah. Fred Durst is funny.
Yeah, he's funny.
Like, he's funny. And, like, I always, like, I think I mentioned this during the episode on Pup, where I was like, it makes me mad when musical acts are also funny, because I can only do one.
No, I love it, dude. I think it's, because they all want to be, it's that thing where you all want to be comics, and then comedians want to be musicians. But, I like it. Like, it is. He's funny, though, it feels unintentionally. Unless that rumor's true, where, like, it was all ironic or whatever.
Yeah, which
would be crazy.
Would be wild.
But also, like, I feel like if I was Fred Durst, I would want that out there, too.
Right, just to cover yourself a bit.
But now it feels like it might be, because, I don't know, they're dressing up crazy and just being goofy. Like, I don't know. Maybe it was all fucking irony. I don't know. You know what I mean? It was the whole thing.
It's a psyop.
It was just, it was just like an ironic fucking, like, what if we got like a fucking sick band of musicians? Like, everybody's good in the band except for me.
Yeah.
What if everybody's good and I suck at rapping? And they were like, yeah, dude.
Yeah. That's funny.
It's funny.
My first pedestal was Wes Borland as a person.
Oh, yeah.
Wes Borland, like, give this man a medal.
Yeah.
Because he is what made this band rule. Like, say what you want about Fred Durst and his horrific lyrics or any and songwriting ability in general, but, like, Wes Borland was the glue that kept this band alive.
Yeah,
and
dude.
The fact that he hated it so much is very funny to me.
Well, I feel like he didn't hate it at first. And then, I mean, also, I think maybe part of it is hating the fame of it or whatever, too.
Yeah. He's like, I don't want to be famous for this.
Yeah, right. Because, I mean, it's like, I don't know, it's like a lot of, like, 80s heavy metal guitarists or something.
Yeah.
Like, they played a lot of fucking, like... Do you think, like, CeCe DeVille from Poison, like, was like, oh, yeah, I'd like to be known for Poison? Like, he's like a fucking great, like, truly a great guitar player, but he's in Poison, you know what I mean? Like, it sucks, but it doesn't take away from the talent that he has.
Right. I think the golden handcuffs are like a thing in Limp Bizkit, where he's like, I am extremely talented. I bring a lot to the table, but, like, I am now attached to this really polarizing band. Yeah,
for sure. And I mean, I don't know. Nobody plays guitar like him, though. Really.
That's true.
Like, it's kind of insane. He has that thing that, like, the dude from the Deftones had, where it's like, you know where to play and when to play, and sometimes not playing is better.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of a crazy... He also had that thing like Dimebag has where it's like sometimes it just could be simple.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, break stuff or like later, it's like that's like just 2 notes. Most of that song is 2 notes.
Even when I like listen to Tool, there are certain Tool songs where it is just 2 notes.
Yes,
but
where you're
rips.
just not playing. I mean, like, the spaces of silence are sometimes the brilliance where you're like, oh man, that's crazy. But then sometimes like, like on Sour, that riff on Sour is crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy hard to play.
The crazy run on Counterfeit is
it
also rips.
He's like he's like the Les Claypool of guitar.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like to me. Like it's like a funky thing, but yeah, I don't know if he'll ever get his flowers. But also, I mean, Primus, I don't know. I mean, everybody knows Les Claypool's like whatever, but it's also a silly kind of fucking band.
Oh yeah, they're super silly.
Yeah,
they're Tool, but like weird.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's like what is that one song? Big Betty's Brown Beaver, or whatever the fuck. Like, it's about a lady's pussy. But it's like maybe the craziest like bass line you've ever heard. You're like,
let me lay something down.
Like
for this.
Jerry was a race coach. My Name is Mud, just about a hillbilly killing somebody. Like it's like there's like so much shit that's like it's like that's goofy. That's a dumb thing to write about.
I think it ultimately makes those acts really balanced though. Like you can't just be nerdy.
Yeah, right.
You can't just be like it needs levity to like the insanity that you bring musically.
If Limp Bizkit was just the band, like, and they were playing this like technical weird, like I mean almost like there's like jazzy parts of shit they play. Like it's like there's like fusion of jazz in there into like the hip hop and the metal obviously, but if that was just a thing, people would be like, okay, nobody would care,
right?
But it needs the fucking frat boy lyrics of Fred Durst to make it palatable,
right?
Which is crazy.
That is really weird.
Yeah, so
that's
it's like,
the thing.
yeah, I mean, if you have somebody, that's how much people hate women. They're like, I'll listen to jazz fusion metal as long as you call somebody a whore.
Yeah. Fine, I'll open my I'll widen my musical taste.
Yeah.
But only if they're bitches. All right.
Yeah, it has to make it because like it just has to make it a little, I don't know, something tangible.
Yeah.
That's the hard part.
Yeah.
That's why
make it accessible to the idiots.
Well, that's why the Deftones never would like pop. I mean, they had that one fucking record, White Pony, that really fucking. I mean, I think all their records are amazing, but I think White Pony was the most successful one.
Mm-hmm.
But outside of that, it's like they don't have like nobody. I mean, they're respected underground, but it's like I don't know, man. People fucking do not see them as the thing.
Well, we've seen it in politics that if you appeal to the idiots, you're going to win.
Yeah, for sure.
And so like same with music, same with comedy, you have to appeal to the idiots. And I think that was the genius of Fred Durst. He's like, this is all very cool, but we're too smart. Like
that's why I'm trying to fucking incorporate more women hating into my act.
I'll be the Deftones where I just hang out in alt rooms.
Yeah, right. Like, I don't know. It's like, but also it's like, you have some, I mean, even in my jokes, like I have some dumb shit, not women hating stuff, but some dumb stuff just to like capture them for a second so I can do the thing I want to do where it's like, they'll be more apt to go with me.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's smart. I appreciate that.
There's like stuff where you have to do that. Like, especially if you're like, I don't know, I was in fucking Fort Wayne, Indiana. Like I have to tell them something so I can sing about pedophiles or whatever.
Right.
Whatever I'm going to do, like whatever weird thing I'm going to do. Like I need you to like be with me first.
That's fair. Yeah. What is your second pedestal?
I think I accidentally did all of them at once.
That's fair. That's fair.
I went on a like tangent. The first 6 songs of Wingers, Sour, What They'll Become, and the Televangel, etc.
All right.
But I do think a pedestal thing. It's like the thing is like, what sucks is like. No, I'll bring that up later. Never mind. Okay. Go ahead. I'll bring it up later.
I felt this one was going to be kind of a hot take, but I actually liked the 16-minute jam everything at the very end.
Yeah.
Because I think that was fascinating.
Yeah.
Like, just let him cook.
Yeah.
And then Fred, shut up.
Yeah, because that's what that band would have been.
Yeah.
It would have been like this new metal Grateful Dead.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Because
like,
that's what it reminded me of. I was like, this is a jam band right now. And, it was kind of sick.
It's great because they're all fucking really talented, except for Fred. But he is really talented in the fact that he knows exactly what is like in the zeitgeist of that moment. Like,
what's marketable.
Yeah.
And like, it's crazy. The weird genius of Fred Durst.
I mean,
he
is kind of a genius though. Like, he fucking, after Limp Bizkit, like, he directed that, what's that movie? He directed a couple movies, but he directed that Charlie, God, what the fuck? What's that movie called? It's got the guy from The Social Network. What's
Jesse Eisenberg?
Yeah, he's in, he directed a movie with him. It was great.
Okay.
He also like was in this show about the apocalypse, which was sick, which got canceled like six episodes in, but it was very good. I remember loving it.
Well, I remember, so when they got signed, like I was reading their Wikipedia page, and like when they got signed, like almost immediately after, he got made a vice president of A&R at the label.
Yeah.
Like, it was like, so like clearly he knows like what the people want.
Well, also, he was also friends with like, you know, all the other bands that were coming. I mean, Korn was like, they were like so tight.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I don't know, he was in the zeitgeist of this genre that they were just finding out about.
Yeah.
So they were like, he was like, this band, this band, this band, and then those band all fucking blew up. So it's like, yeah, he made them millions and millions of dollars.
Yeah. Well, the crazy thing, like in the same article, which this is a weird sentence, like in this Wikipedia article, it was like he was very connected to the local high schools, and I was like, that's weird. I was like helpful, yes, also strange. Like,
yeah.
He's the dude who graduated, who's still hanging out at the high school.
Yeah, they were all. Well, also, I mean, he's connected to them because they were all coming to the shows.
Yeah.
Which is probably what they meant, and hopefully what they meant.
Hopefully he's not just hanging around. He's like, what's up, guys?
Some of these songs are not about 17-year-old girls.
You're stuck on yourself, whore. Some 16-year-old.
Yeah, man, she's 16, dude.
Of course she
is.
is.
She's a little narcissistic right now.
She'll grow out of it. But by the time she does that, you won't be interested anymore.
Yeah, right. Well, you won't be popular anymore by the time she's 18.
Yeah, and then my last one was just Pollution as the song. I think that was like my highlight track.
Pollution fucking rock. I mean, one of the best. From that intro into that was very sick. Mm-hmm. And then into Counterfeit, and then into Stuck, I believe, is after that.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, and then Nobody Loves Me. And Sour.
Funny.
Which Nobody Loves Me sucks except for the chorus.
Yeah.
Like, the song itself is, like, not great. And then you're like...
incoherent for the most part.
Yeah, and then, like, the chorus is like, oh, this is good.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, you got there. But,
yeah.
All right.
Yeah, Pollution, though, is a fucking sick song. That riff is great.
Yeah.
It's a good first track.
Yeah, man. I spent the week listening to this for the most part.
Damn, you spent a whole week? That's crazy.
What a weird way to start your day. Like,
yeah.
I was like, because like, have you ever like waking up in the morning and only eaten a donut and being like, why does my day fucking suck right now? It feels like that. Like, I should have eaten an egg.
Yeah. I listened to it a couple times when I was driving last week, and yeah, it was like, oh yeah, I feel the exact same way as I felt about this 10 years ago.
Yeah.
It's like, I'll listen to the first 6 songs. These 2 songs suck. Faith is good. These 2 songs suck. And then Stink Finger comes on. You're like, all right, this is fine. And
Stink Finger walked so Stink Fist by Tool could run.
Right.
All right. I think we're going to jump into a hitter full of shit. How do you feel about a record scratch moment right now? All right. These are some takes that I thought of and a few from the internet. The first one is... so the name of the game is like, I'll read the take and then you just hit me with a hit or full of shit, and then we'll get into it.
Yeah.
All right. So this album is a projection about authenticity.
It's interesting. I don't know if I think it's somewhere in the middle though. Like,
okay.
I don't feel that it is a hit, or because it could be a projection, but also though I feel as if when they started and when Korn was going, like in those early days, there probably were a million fucking bands that were trying to do what they were doing after they started it. So maybe there was a bit of you guys are just copying us.
So I'll explain where I got this from. So like so I watched like a weird interview of Fred, like right as this was coming out, and he's like, yeah, man, we just went in the studio and we were just us. Yeah. And like we were just doing us. And I was like, that's interesting that this is what you landed on. This is your most authentic self.
Right.
And then, but like as through listening, like there's so many references to like being inauthentic, like just pointing the finger at others, like you're fake. Yeah. You're nothing. Like counterfeit is like take off the mask, you're counterfeit. Yeah. Even the titular line where he's like, you're about as real as a $3 bill. Yeah. And like, and all I kept thinking, I was like, dude, with every accusation is like an admission. Yeah. And so I wonder if he was so worried about like seeming inauthentic or like hiding some form of authentic self that he's like, no, everyone else is fake, I'm real. Like almost gaslighty.
Yeah, maybe it's a Holden Caulfield kind of thing, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, not to bring up a book, sorry.
Sorry,
not to bring up not to be gay and bring up a book, but maybe it is like everyone else is phonies, everyone else is this, when truly it's like, you know, you're grasping with that, which I think that is everybody. Right. Everybody who thinks that at some point is grasping with their own shit. Yeah. You know, it's every bully is just sort of projecting their insecurity on you. Yeah. So that's like I think that maybe is a hit.
All right. I love convincing people of my bullshit. This next one is from the internet, is from my Instagram. Their cover of Faith is the best version of Faith. Hit.
100%. I actually feel that completely because
you don't think George Michael is just pissed somewhere?
No, I don't think so. I mean, to be honest, that opened that, like, you know, George Michael's time had passed at that point.
No, sure.
And also he had a lot of bad press, you know? So I think that was good for him. And I don't know. I mean, I think it is the best version because it is like, it's one of those covers that you're like, oh yeah, you made that your song. Okay. They turned it into a Limp Bizkit song.
Yeah, and that is important. Like, I think about this very often as like some artists are like cucked by other artists. Like when they write a good song and then someone absolutely takes it and makes it way better. Yeah. I think about that with Bob Dylan a lot. Yeah. The king of being cucked by his own song. Like Rage Against the Machine, like Maggie's Farm.
Yeah. I mean, all on the Watchtower. Yeah. Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah. Just
Knocking on Heaven's Door.
Yep.
Guns N' Roses. I mean, yeah, he's
the king of writing these lit songs and everyone's like, no, let's make it way better.
Yeah. Saying the N-word in the song. Me.
Yeah. Me in my room alone.
Me in my car before I got here.
You know.
Just
Bob Dylan really opened a lot of doors for people like us. All right. And the last hit, Limp Bizkit, The Ultimate Hustlers. Like, they made hustle culture more prominent than we all realized.
Yeah, like, I think people probably don't know, but yeah, I would say that's a hit. Like, because they were, like, really, like, almost like the way Dane Cook blew up, of, like, standing outside of his shows and being like, follow me on MySpace. Yeah. Like, really hustling and pushing themselves. Yeah, I think that's a hit.
Yeah. Do you think that if they were a band, like, I mean, they're still a band now, but if they were like coming up now, they would be one of those hustle bros on TikTok? Or do you think they would keep it secret?
I don't know. I don't know. It's a different world now, so it's like maybe, but I don't think they would be. No, I don't think they would be those guys. Yeah. I think they would be the annoying comedian outside of the club. Like, follow me on Instagram or whatever, you know?
Yeah. Fred Durst is like the kind of person that I hate being in the comedy scene.
Yeah, me too.
Like, I would just rather be asked or like, you know, just do my thing and then let my thing be the thing that gets me booked at this place.
Yeah.
Like the hustle culture, I don't have an ounce of hustle in me. And so Fred Durst is like my absolute opposite.
Well, it's like they needed, I mean, all those other guys probably needed him to be like that.
Sure.
Because, you know, Wes and, like, I don't know.
Wes Borland wears masks. That's how much he doesn't like being seen.
Yeah,
like,
right. So I feel like, you know, you need a guy like that in that band where you're like, oh, he'll do all the fucking legwork on that side.
Yeah.
We'll make all the sick music.
Yeah. Maybe I just need a Fred Durst
He's
friend.
a guy, he's the guy that fucking emails every, like, comedy club. He, like, sends out, like, 12 emails a day. And it's like, oh, how's that guy always booked? He sucks. And it's like, yeah, but like it doesn't matter. He's like that's how he gets it.
Yeah,
you know?
It's part of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ugh, hustling.
Well, it's like I don't know. We focus so much, or at least I do. Like I focus so much on the other side of it, which is okay, the jokes and the fucking like needing to have new jokes all the time,
yeah,
whatever, and worrying about that side. That I do not worry about the other side at all. And that is not sustainable.
I agree because I think it would be incredibly embarrassing to do the hustle work and then get there and then suck.
Yeah,
I'd rather be good.
But sometimes you do the fucking like hustle work on the other side and they still don't like you. So it's like, it's just you're gonna run into that anyways.
Yeah.
So you might as well do both.
Yeah.
Like that's you know, you have to.
Yeah. That's the only way.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I know.
Maybe I'll send an email after this. Who knows? Probably won't.
Yeah, I won't either.
All right. Are you ready for On a Spit?
Yeah.
Have you prepared some roasts for us?
I did.
Hell yeah. Some of the comics don't, and I do some heavy lifting, but I knew you would come prepared.
Yeah, I came with some.
All right. You got a first one for us?
Sure. Like you kind of think like Stuck is just a song about a guy who fell in love with a stripper. That's really what it is. Because he's just like, the whole time you're like, he's like doing like suicidal tendency lyrics.
Yeah.
And you're like, what is this guy talking about? And he's like, you think you dance for my cash, bitch? You think you could just do that?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, it's her job.
Yeah, that's what
you're at the strip club, Fred.
No, she loves me, dude.
Yeah, no, dude, she loves me. And then the next song is like, nobody loves me. It's like that's the guy leaving the strip club.
Yeah, he ran out of money. He's like, now they don't love me anymore.
Yeah.
What we had was special, Crystal.
Yeah, that was my first one.
All right. Mine was, this week of listening to this album was, in fact, life-changing, but life-changing in the way a lobotomy is life-changing.
Yeah.
It's, I felt like I had less mental proclivity throughout the day. Yeah,
for sure. Like, you're kind of just like, it's like watching, like, trash TV or something.
Right.
You know? You just, like, watch the Kardashians all day, and you're like, am I a person anymore?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, do I have, like, thoughts and feelings? I don't think I do. I think I've just been numbed to the world.
But at least my face looks good because of all of these products I bought from them.
Yeah, right. I guess my second one, let's see. I kind of feel like, you know, Fred was like, oh, I'll never understand pollution. And that was like a prequel to like ICP's not understanding magnets. It's just like, dude, that whole like scene was just like, we don't get science.
We dropped out of school.
I also think it'd be really funny if like Greta Thunberg is like at a Limp Bizkit concert trying to explain pollution to Fred Durst.
That should be a bit. Yeah. That should be a sketch.
Yeah.
Is her getting on stage. No, guys, you're not getting it. My second one is very low-hanging fruit, but I would have hated to be drywall when this album came out.
That's funny. Yeah, that's funny. I like that. I like the... Yeah. I mean, every dude named Kyle loved it.
Yeah.
Big Kyle crowd.
Yeah, I have more thoughts on this brand of humor later when we get to some of the questions in Turntable. But yeah, would have hated to be drywall. God,
yeah,
bad time. Great to invest in Home Depot when this album came out.
It's like, okay, my third one. like Stink Finger was like really like, and then like, you know, Chocolate Starfish.
Mm-hmm.
It's like everything they do is just named after what like middle school boys talk about at the lunch table. You know what I mean? Like it's the whole thing is just geared towards 7th graders.
Yeah.
And that's not really a roast, but it's just what it is.
Yeah, dude, he hung out at the high school.
Yeah, he was keyed into the high school. Yeah. And he was like, "Oh, hot dog flavored water, that's cool."
He's like, "Aren't buttholes funny?"
Yeah, Limp Bizkit. I mean, their name is Limp Bizkit. It's just all sex stuff.
Yeah.
Gross sex stuff. Like, I'm surprised they don't have a song called like Rusty Trombone or something.
Yeah, some of the Wikipedia page had like alternative names that they were kicking around before they landed on Limp Bizkit, and one of them was like Blood Shit or something like that. I was like, Jesus Christ.
Damn, imagine Carson Daly saying that.
Like, and
number one is Nookie by Blood Shit.
Or like making who was hosting like late night at that point? Was it it Carson or was it?
No, it was Leno. And
yeah, Jay Leno. Imagine Jay Leno introducing.
Yeah, Fred Durst from Blood Shit's here.
So tell me about how you landed on the name Blood Shit.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, Limp Bizkit, dude. Damn.
My last one is this album has rave reviews about Fred Durst's lyrics, but they were never published because the reviewers were illiterate.
It is lyrically his best album, though.
It's
not even close, which is crazy.
This is terrible.
It's so bad, but it is lyrically, like, the rapping is the best it was.
Yeah.
Like, in his whole career.
Well, there was a song, it was Indigo Flow.
Yeah.
I was like, this isn't bad.
Yeah, no, I mean, he also does a song with Method Man on that, on Significant Other and Redman. So it's like,
you have it
he
in
was
you.
like, he has it in him, but he does not, it's not marketable to be a white rapper unless you're really good.
Yeah.
And Eminem was around, so it's like, all right, I guess I'll just be the other guy.
Yeah, I'll just be bad.
I'll be yelly guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll be the guy that Eminem gets mad at and mentions in a song.
Yeah. Well, did he get mad at him?
Yeah, because like they were fighting over a girl, I think. 'Cause I know like Eminem like mentions Fred Durst.
Yeah, I know. Well, he was like, well, in one song, Christina Aguilera better switch me chairs so I could sit next to Carson Daly and Fred Durst argue who that she gave head to first.
Yeah.
Right. Little bitch put me on blast on MTV. Damn, I know too much. Yeah.
You know more about this lore than you thought.
Yeah, anything that mentioned Fred Durst. I mean, I also was like in 5th grade. I was wearing a puffy jacket. I was wearing the red.
The Jinko jeans.
Dude, yeah, the red fucking backwards New York cap with the blue New York. I mean, man. Yeah, I was into it.
Yeah.
I was very into it. Adidas. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
I'm excited to dig into that further in the next section. All right. In between sections, we'll hit our second record scratch of the show. This mini game is called Florida. What the fuck?
Yeah, dude, it fucking totally tracks. They're from Jacksonville.
Yes, like Jacksonville, Florida, and because I was like, where are they from? And then I heard him mention it, and I'm like, yeah.
Jacksonville, we're coming home.
Yeah, this mini game is a little loose. Like usually they're a little more structured, but I have a few prompts, and it's like, what about Florida makes this possible?
Dude, it's not. It's like, the thing is, it has to be Jacksonville because like, even in Tampa, they're like, dude, Jacksonville's fucking crazy. You know what I mean? Like, Jacksonville sucks so bad that's the breeding ground for what Limp Bizkit is. It's like Date Rape was a city. You know what I mean? Like, it is such a, like, you have to cover your drinks in Jacksonville. Yeah. It's like so gross.
Everything's bottled.
Yeah,
you're all using straws.
Yeah,
like, we're not.
Dude. Yeah, it's definitely Jacksonville because everybody else, Florida sucks generally, but yeah, even the other cities in Florida are like, dude, don't go to Jacksonville.
Like, Florida is such a fascinating state to me, like, because like it is just off the rails.
Yeah, I think it's something about not having seasons.
Yeah, because like California also.
Yeah, but you know, like gotta think like, okay, like this is not even like a Holly weird thing. That's what people think about California.
Yeah.
California's fucking crazy outside of like the three big cities.
Right.
Like, I mean, there's like fucking. First of all, it's all on fire most of the time.
Well, the Inland Empire is an insane place. Like
Yeah.
Barstow, California.
Yeah,
Yo.
dude. Orange County. I mean,
Yeah.
there's like a fucking Nazi stronghold in Orange County.
True.
Like, it's like there's so much weird shit going on in that state. And it's like, I mean, outside of the big cities, it's like, you know, just like most states, it's pretty fucking red.
Yeah.
There's a lot of hillbillies out in California too. So it's
weird.
like, it's a weird fucking state, man. I mean, any place that doesn't have seasons, I think, really just has a lot of fucking crazy people.
Yeah. The other point I had for like Florida, what the fuck, is and this is like so like Donald Trump and Limp Bizkit with like the idea of like radical ownership. So like both of these people are like, yeah, we're the worst. But we're gonna own it.
Yeah.
Like that's the whole reason Trump like is liked by so many people is because like he tells us to our face that he's ripping us off, and we'd rather at this point you be honest than.
Well, it's like it's like I'm smart for not like when like people are like, oh, your taxes. He's like, yeah,
duh.
I did. Yeah, I got away with it. What do you mean?
Yeah.
Like that's like, I don't know. That's how most people are though.
Yeah.
Like if I stole something from somewhere. If I steal from you and you don't know it, and then I go in my car, I'm like, fucking got away with it again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it would be like that. Like I think most people, their bad side, whether it is, they might try to hide it if they're in trouble. But
Right.
I mean, people brag about being kind of shitty a lot.
Yeah. But what about Florida in particular breeds this kind of mentality?
Oh,
like,
well, that's
the sort of
more
like criminality as a
more,
cool thing.
Yeah, it seems more out in the open. I mean, also like, you know, you hear every crazy criminal story from Florida man is a thing where you're like, man, what is? It's a big meth thing too. Yeah. A lot of it's meth, but I don't know. Maybe it's just there's also something about just being so confidently yourself. Whatever that is, flaws included, that people are like,
this guy,
everybody's flawed.
Yeah, I guess like I feel like Florida becomes like that weird martyr of like you're going to be the state that we all wish we were, but would never admit to being.
Yeah,
like there is like the weird like we like this quietly from a distance.
Yeah. There's like a even though I like disagree with most of the stuff they do, it's like still like. Yeah, there's still like a fuck you attitude to it. That's like, oh, okay, like that's I guess kind of cool. But even though it's like, you know, maybe marginalizing people or whatever.
Yeah,
it's not. It's like not like the fuck you attitude is cool until it's like just shitty.
Yeah. Because you know who else had a fuck you attitude at one point? Hitler.
Yeah, right. Yeah, he was like, "I'm me. Yeah, if you can't accept me at my Holocaust,
then you don't deserve me at my Argentina.
At my struggle."
That'll teach you not to like my fucking art.
Yeah, right.
Y'all didn't like when I was expressing myself appropriately.
Yeah.
But yeah, that ends that loose ass mini game of Florida.
Right.
What
Sick.
the fuck?
Yeah, sick.
Which brings us to our last segment of the episode, and that is on a turntable.
Yeah.
I sent you these questions ahead of time to try and come up with some answers.
Damn, did you? That sucks. I think I was like, oh, I wrote the jokes or whatever.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, yeah.
All right, well, riff ahead.
Yeah, all right.
So the first question was, Limp Bizkit is such a polarizing sound and vibe. What do you think was in the water in the 90s where young men were like, hell yeah, this is us?
I think it was just like everything was extreme, right? Like everything was like, people were like surge and like, you know what I mean? Like X Games and like everything had to be to the limit, and it felt like also a preamble of, I don't know, I think a lot of people like, maybe there was an underlying, even if it was like not cognizant, fear of maybe like the year 2000's coming up and we don't know what's going to happen. There was that Y2K like kind of fear going around where you're like, I don't know, maybe it's all going to end.
Yeah, because like music, so I became like music aware in 2006.
Oh, Jesus.
You know, like I was like, you know, like 5th grade, 6th grade is when I started, you know, actually making my own musical choices. And so like I actually missed the boat on Limp Bizkit.
Of course.
And so with like my 30-year-old goggles on, where I was like, it's weird that like, because like all of my music like kind of came post like financial collapse of 2008, you know, and it's like people actually have problems now. Yeah. And so I wondered, I was like, what the hell was going on in the 90s where like people felt this way?
It was also like a lot of the angst, I think, from the grunge movement too.
Okay.
And metal had sort of, they were like, well, metal's dead. Like that was like, like grunge killed heavy metal or something. Mm-hmm. Like, and you know, like a couple bands were still surviving, like Metallica or like, you know, Pantera had sort of still broken through, even though, you know, quote unquote metal was dead. And there's like a lot of death metal in the underground scene, but I think there was a lot of angst from that, and hip hop had become really popular. So it was like, okay, what if we had combined these two things? So it's like the angstiness of grunge with rap, and then also this new kind of almost dumbed down metal. Yeah, where it's like, can we get people back on board with it?
Yeah, that's interesting, because like I wondered, I was like, maybe it's like a complete ignorance towards like mental health is like what happens. Like this is what happens when we just like completely ignore mental health. Like I was like, it's like where you let feelings sit and they just become this. Like it's like, this is what happens when you let cheese get moldy and it becomes an entirely different creature. It was like, I feel insecure, and you let that feeling of insecurity sit long enough, and then you become Fred Durst.
I mean, I guess I approached it from like a cultural standpoint,
which is fair. I mean,
I was like just trying to actually figure it out, but you're probably right. I mean, there's a little bit of that as well.
Yeah, I think it was interesting that you like bring up like the microcosm of like, I think angst towards losing metal is an interesting view,
but still tapping into that same angst that, you know, Nirvana tapped into, right? Like a lot of those grunge guys did. I mean, like, you know, Alice in Chains probably influenced more of these bands than you know, then some of them would like. I mean, Godsmack was literally a Alice in Chains cover band. So, I think like they took what that was doing, and then we're like, well, what if it wasn't so fucking heroined out sad?
What if it was funny?
What if we were drunk instead?
I mean, what if we stopped at the booze?
Right. Like that's more like the vibe, I think.
Yeah. All right. This next one is what part of this album is particularly resonant with you? Is there a time that reminds you of, and is there any stories there?
Yeah, I think like, because I think the first time I heard it, I was in like the 6th grade maybe, because I was so obsessed with Significant Other and so obsessed with them like that. My mom and dad eventually bought me $3 Bill Y'all, and it was like, I didn't like it because it wasn't as catchy. Okay. You know what I mean? Yeah. It wasn't as catchy, whatever. But then I think when I got older and I like sort of went back and looked at them when I was like 18, 19, I was like, oh, yeah, like I think I like this more. It's heavier, it's whatever. And, I mean, when you're 18 and 19 years old and you're, like, dating and you're whatever, you're like, man, fucking women, dude. Like, and, like, it's like, I don't know, there is that, like, because that's what it's geared towards. It's geared to fucking 16-year-olds to 19-year-olds who are just, like, I don't know, angry young men. Right. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, you can connect with that. And now in retrospect, I'm just like, oh, this is kind of, like, dumb, but it's still like it still kicks something in my brain that's like, oh yeah, I still like this.
There is like a certain like tribalism element to like this kind of metal, and like where it's like you can't help but thrash around to it. And like it's like an undeniable banger.
Yeah.
You know, you're like, if you ignore the misogyny,
Yeah,
and
right.
like you're like, God damn, this rules.
It's so
it
sick.
taps into something in us as humans where you're just like, yes.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you have to bob your head to it at least. It's I think it's, I don't know. It's beautiful it's like seeing like a car crash, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's like where you're like, oh, there is like some sort of beauty or meaning to it, I guess, but it's I don't know. It's hard to describe.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's also like a lot of it's nostalgia based though too, for
Right.
me at least. Because like if I heard it now, I would be like, eh.
Yeah, because that's like where I came from with it. Like I knew of Limp Bizkit in the periphery.
Yeah,
so
right.
like me giving them the full listen was like, this was my first time.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
And so I kind of like approached it like anthropologically.
Yeah, of course.
I'm like, what was it like? You know, this is what the 90s were like for like either like the wide spectrum of either totally affluent white dudes with no issues wishing they had issues, and then to like actual like trailer trash people who have no idea how to process anything.
The anger of white suburbia, you know what I mean? And like, I mean, I don't know, fucking pro wrestling tapped into that at that time. Like the attitude, it was all just about attitude and being like, fuck you and whatever. Like I mean, the Stone Cold Steve Austin is Stone Cold Steve Austin because of the same ethos of Limp Bizkit.
Right.
It's all the same shit. It's always like, fuck you, man. Like, I mean, Rage Against the Machine has that on a upper echelon level of more like the government, whatever.
Fuck the system.
The system. But like, it's the same. It's all the same ethos. It's all the same shit.
It's fascinating.
It's crazy.
Because like I'm also right now watching The Sopranos for like the millionth time, and like AJ is like into like Limp Bizkit and Mudvayne, and I'm like, brother, you have nothing going on,
right.
So, like,
well, other than the fact that his dad's a mafia boss,
sure, but like outside of that, like, interpersonally,
his dad is probably a mafia boss, and his family's been lying to him his whole life.
Sure. Make a poignant point.
He does go. He does go to a Mudvayne concert.
He's like, they rocked.
I forgot about that.
That show's so funny. I recommend it to people who like want to laugh, or if you have.
Yeah, it's great.
Or if you've had an angry dad in your life. Tony's outbursts make me laugh.
Yeah, dude.
All right, this last one, it was more of a fun one for me. If you directed a movie where this album was the soundtrack, what movie would that be? I said, give me a pitch, get silly, be serious, cook up. I have like a few because I love this kind of like, I love pitching shitty movies.
A movie where that is, I feel like, dude, this could be the soundtrack to fucking any movie that came out in that time.
Right.
To be honest. Like, I mean, they were the soundtracks anyways. Like,
right.
A lot of them were like fucking nu metal bands I remember buying, I mean, like, dude, there was like the fucking Scorpion King soundtrack, even up to like 2003 was like, oh, it's a Godsmack album, essentially. Like, there is, like, it's basically any movie. I mean, Korn did the soundtrack for that fucking vampire movie. What was it? With Aaliyah, Queen of the Damned. All the songs on that were just Korn songs.
That rules.
So it's like, it could be fucking anything that, a shitty vampire movie for sure. I mean, this could be, God, I mean, some bad comedy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it could be anything, really.
Mine were a biopic about the creation of Monster Energy. Like a gritty A24, Blackberry-esque creation of Monster Energy.
Yeah, that's funny. I like that.
My second was an entire movie from the point of view of drywall in the early 2000s Florida, where they go through the ebbs and flows of being beat to death.
What if how about they remade Clerks, but the guys were on meth?
Yeah.
That's like, that seems maybe like
for sure. Yeah.
Guys that work at a gas station / video store.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of what it feels like.
Yeah. And then my last one was a feature-length King of the Hill, focusing on a young adult Bobby as he battles with years of repressing his homosexuality for the sake of Hank's pride as a Southern conservative dad.
Yeah, so it's like the second Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah.
But like set in 1998.
Yeah. Bobby Hill angry at Hank.
Yeah, that rocks.
But all right, man, that takes us to the end of our show.
Oh fuck! All right.
Any
sick.
final thoughts? Any?
Yeah, well, I don't know. Don't listen to it. It's not. I mean, it's not like in retrospect. Yeah, like if
don't
you could,
take it at face value.
If you could travel back in time and listen to it in 1997 or whatever, yeah. Like go back in time and kill Hitler, and then go to 1997 and listen to $3 Bill Y'all. But outside of that, don't listen to it.
Yeah, it will take a toll on you.
Yeah.
I haven't been the same all week. I've had GI issues. It's been a whole thing. But you got anything that you want to tell the people about coming up? You got dates?
Yeah, me and I do a podcast called Ran So Far with Blake. You should listen to it.
Absolutely. I'll link episodes in the description for sure.
But we are going to be in Janesville, Wisconsin for 26 and 7 this weekend. So, yeah, come out if you are in Wisconsin somehow listening to Limp Bizkit podcast.
You don't know my reach, dude. I got sleepers everywhere. But all right, man. Well, thanks so much for coming out.
Yeah, of course.
And we will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.